Hey everybody, this is David with Bolivar Live News. I'm here in the Tourism Center with Keith Zahar, the owner of the Big Store. And if you've ever been to Bolivar or Crystal Beach and you've been to the Big Store, you know why they call it the Big Store. Keith, thanks for coming in today. I know everyone's getting ready for Memorial Day weekend, but we took a walk around the store and you were showing me some things, but how old is the store and when did it start and how much has it grown?
Well, Dave, first, thanks for having me. I appreciate you taking time to have us, and thanks for the opportunity to be able to come and tell you about the store. And well, in answer to your question, it actually opened May 17th of 1986. And those who don't know, Daniel Kohofer is the one who originally built the store. He had it from 1986 until he died in 2004. And I came to work with Dan a couple of weeks after he opened it, and he and I had been friends since we were young. We worked at those who go way back, we worked at the Gerlands on Highland Avenue in South Park in Beaumont. We've been friends since we were teenagers. But anyway, we started this operation and been doing it, for all those years, and really enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, We came down here and coming from the grocery business, we thought there was a need, and came down here. It didn't take long to realize that it wasn't going to operate like a grocery store, and we had to figure out real quick to learn how to operate it. And it operates, even though it looks like a store, it operates quite a bit differently.
When you say operates different, what do you mean by operates?
Well, it's kind of a cross between a general store, a convenience store, and a grocery store. And at certain times of the year, you have to operate it as one of those. And it can change from a weekend to the midweek, depending on what type of those operations you need it to be. And it took us a while to master that, but once we got it figured out, it worked for us. We had to find the items that were profitable and the items that the people needed, and it helped living here. I've lived here all those years, and living here, it didn't. I learned what I needed, and what I needed was just about what everyone else needed, and we learned what those were, and we carried them, and it's kind of evolved into what it is right now.
I mean, I know after Ike, when the Big Store came back, it was like an icon, that's sort of when the Big Store came back, when Stingray came back, that's when everyone knew Bolivar survived, or at least for me, that's when I knew, hey, we're back.
Well, you kind of reminded me of something that I think you and I talked about maybe a year or so ago, and prior to that, we had seen what had happened in Louisiana, with Katrina and Rita. And so many of those areas over there were devastated, and my warehouse is in Baton Rouge, so I was involved with a lot of stores that had been destroyed and areas over there that had been destroyed, and we were working to try to bring some of those areas back. And what we had learned was that in those areas that had been devastated like that, and if those areas that were devastated, if they didn't get back and get them going, they didn't come back.
Right.
And so the first thing I realized was that we had to get back down here. We had to get people back down here. We had to get the businesses back down here. And if we didn't, it wasn't going to happen. It would take decades for those areas to develop. I don't know if people know it. Even Homestead, Florida, is still not back after it was destroyed in 1989.
Right.
I mean, don't get me wrong. It's developed, but it's not back like it was. And FEMA stayed here for a year longer than they stay in an area, studying what enabled this area to come back so fast. And one of their determinations, or one of their conclusions was rather that the businesses came back here faster than they've ever seen them come back anywhere else. And it's a difficult decision to make. I mean, you're sitting here looking at the town's gone.
Yeah.
So here you are putting a business back, and people are looking at you. Are you crazy? There's not even a house here.
Or they say, build it and they will come.
Well, except that's wishful thinking, And you kind of ask yourself, are you even crazy? But by the grace of God, it worked.
Yeah.
We can only count our blessings that
we were walking through the store earlier, and you were showing me the meat department and the fruits and vegetables. And, you know, if you haven't been in the store and really walked around, you gave me a tour, and I'm in and out of there daily. But I hadn't really toured, and you brought up some stuff, you know, in the meat department were showing me the different cuts that you have, even tomahawk steaks, you know, that you have down there. And then we went around over to the vegetables, and I know in the mornings I eat breakfast at the deli, and every morning there's two guys in there checking the fruits and vegetables, restocking them, so it's always fresh. And that's one thing I've noticed about the store is, and I say it when I'm doing my live feeds, you know, you're greeted with a smile, and if the big store doesn't have it, chances are you don't need it. And after touring the store, there really isn't anything I could think I would need that the store doesn't have. How did you come up with the layout and the philosophy on, you know, you've got hardware, you've got RV parts, you've got craftsman tools, you know, and you don't find those just anywhere, even in some of the big city stores, but you've got it at the big store. But then also, you've got Yeti coolers and a walk-in ice room that's as big as the tourism center just about, you know. How does it flow good, or is there a master plan? Is it a master plan community, I guess?
Well, and it's like I mentioned a minute ago, a lot of it evolved, you know, and we, some things we tried over and over again, some things that didn't work the first time, and we tried them again, and they worked. We, you know, I hate to say, you know, I was 30 years old when we started this, and, you know, 33 years later, I'm called old school now, you know, but we pulled it off, and a lot of the stuff that we do, we've just done over and over and over. You know, it's not so much as experience as, you know, we've took that experience and repeated it year in, year out, and some things have changed, but coastal is a life of its own. It's not for the timid, you know. Even though we all kind of flirt with our youth and come to the beach and enjoy the, you know, whatever the beach has to offer you, you get that when you come here. But to live here,
it's a
different animal. Yeah, it's a different world. It's a tough life to work here and live here and deal with the elements. You know, everything here rusts. Everything here corrodes. Everything here
wears out twice as fast.
It goes out twice as fast. So you're constantly working on things and trying to repair things, trying to keep things working. And obviously, when you need help, there's not any. So you have to figure out how to do it yourself. So, but we've managed to pull it off.
You were talking about fixing things up. This year, I know as soon as Easter was open or over, you took on a major task, and you put in new fuel tanks, you put in a new cover, you put in new signage, new pumps. And when we were talking about it, and I've used it a bunch and let people know, you've got the fastest pumps allowed by law. And so I've always said, man, that just means you can spend that much more time on the beach. If you can pump gas faster, you can get to the beach faster. So
well, I guess there's more pedigree there than there is dog. But yeah, they whenever we, you know, it's kind of the perfect storm. I guess 33 years went by quick, but our gas tanks got dated, and the fuel tanks underground. After so long, you have to do something with them, and those were old steel tanks, and we had to pull them out and put new tanks in. And whenever we did, we upgraded to the pumps and the motors to variable speed motors that allowed us to speed up our pumps to the 10 gallons per minute pumps.
That's a lot of gas.
Yeah, you know, most pumps will pump 7.5 gallons a minute. By law in Texas, the most you can pump is 10, so we're pumping 9.9 gallons.
And you're putting a high flow for diesel. It's not in yet, but if you've got a big truck or you've got a storage tank, now once it's in, it'll be the big nozzle diesel pump like you see at some of the big truck stops, so that they can flow more and get more in quicker.
It will. You know, we're seeing a lot of motorhomes now that, you know, have the 90 to 150 gallon tanks, and a lot of, not a lot, but you know, some dump trucks, and there's no place down here to be able to fill those up without standing there for, you know, 15, 20 minutes.
Right.
Whereas I feel like while we're doing this, we might as well go ahead and, since we're having to upgrade everything, let's go ahead and put in bigger motors, bigger lines. Let's go ahead and add that type of dispenser that enables someone to fill their tank up a little quicker.
Great, great. Well, if you haven't been to the big store, it's worth a day trip down here. You won't see anything like it. You can buy your groceries, you can buy your RV supplies, you can buy your beach supplies, you can buy coolers, you can buy paint, custom mixed paint. They have hand tools, they have plumbing. You can build a house from the big store, literally, other than your lumber, and they've even got a little bit of lumber in the back for emergencies. But if you're ever on Crystal Beach or in Crystal Beach or down on Bolivar, you can't miss it. It's the big building with a big shell sign out front, brand new cover. Stop by the big store and plan on staying for a while. They also have a deli in there that's open till about 1 o'clock. I eat breakfast in there a lot, and it's great. You can't beat it, and they've always got fried chicken and different lunches every day. So this is David with Bolivar Live News. Y'all have a great week and come see us, and God bless. Bye-bye.